I know I'm really bad at leg entanglements, but one thing that I felt like you were doing to me the whole time is just sucking me in. Anytime we started to get into a leg entanglement, you're just constantly sucking me in.
Right,
you kind of had the next step on me every time, where you're always like, you know, I think I'm going to roll through. You already captured, moved on to the next step. So
yeah, I think one thing that's I've found to be more important over the years, and just seeing the evolution overall with like leg attacks. I think in the beginning, people had less of the approach of like what a counter would be. Like I think initially you saw people, like whenever they did start doing counters to leg attacks, they looked more for back takes and things like that. And now I feel like people are trying to counter the leg attacks with submissions that take your focus away from the attack itself. So one thing I'm more focused on doing now, whenever I'm using leg attacks to try to get to a better position or get to the submission itself, is be more aware of submission attacks that are happening. So if you notice, every time I was entering your legs, there was always, of course my feet are working, but one hand is always controlling either leg, the one I'm trying to get to, while the other one is keeping your head away. So like during the round, like jokingly you were talking about how you've been working about the headquarters position.
yeah.
So that's a position where I feel like people a lot of times will overcommit to a leg attack, but then get front headlocked or get underhooked, which is what I was doing a couple times from top. So one thing I try to focus on every time I'm right here is keeping the head away, right? Like a lot of times people will have this grip already because they try to go shin to shin.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. A lot of times somebody's coming in shin to shin. You pummel the leg to the inside to make sure I'm not getting underneath, and we land here. We get stuck here all the time. Now the problem is people want to focus so much on this leg. A lot of times people will go for like a false read and they're trying to throw the leg over. Next thing you know, the person's already close. So they're going for rolling front headlocks. They're attacking Kimuras. Just a dangerous spot, especially with somebody that has those submission attacks, a part of their game. So one thing I try to do whenever I'm here is I always try to keep this hand either on the shoulder or even better here. That way I can scoop my hips under using my feet. Get you going this way and have the hands away.
So
yeah, so if I do go for a false sweep, I can. If I am able to pummel that leg in, I can. Like I just think that's something important. Less of a technique, but just more of a way of thinking that I think people that do have leg attacks part of their game got to start adding.
Yeah.
Because man, you see it all the time. Somebody's committing really hard for a leg attack. They're trying to get their leg over. The person's already close, and the next thing you know, they're getting front headlock.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The person's so close.
Kind of diving onto the head, rolling through.
So every time I was attacking, I was trying to get his hands to the ground first, or have your back on the ground. So if I can do any type of tripod sweep or any type of a sweep that will put your hips down first, you're a little bit further than me. So if I'm able to sit you down here, and then find a K guard or find double underhooks like this, where now I can actually suck your leg in like you were saying you were feeling. Right? This is a lot easier for me to deal with because you're further away from me.
Right.
So every time somebody's close in like a knee slide or something like this, I'm not trying to attack your leg. Like so many people tell me, I get like a false reap grip, but I'm not able to get my leg over. The person's blocking this leg or they're controlling my ankle. Here isn't the right spot to go for it. Even if I did have it over, like you're still too close, you're gonna smash me, you're bigger than me. Like I'm gonna have to use more strength than necessary to get that technique to work. So I would rather, just using false reap as an example, because I feel like that's one people use a lot. I initially will start with a shin to shin. That's like one of my favorite entries, is to get underneath between both legs. But let's say he pummels the leg in. I can now bring my foot this way to keep him away. And then I'll use my elbow and this rocking motion to the side to get him going this way. I place almost like a Deli Evo hook underneath on this side, and then now I can start throwing the leg up and over and then getting through.
Gotcha. So just always thinking, maintaining that space where I can't start getting on your head, but also posting.
Yes.
So, because obviously I can't use my hands if I'm posted.
Yep. And then if you are the person on top,
Or you're on top.
you need to do the exact opposite. So let's say you're on your back, you're trying to get me here, right? This is ideal for you. Okay? So if I'm in that headquarters position where you pummel the leg in and you're kind of like here, I need to do the opposite. I need to try to get closer to your head. One of the best ways of doing that is finding an underhook on this arm. This is something that I'm using a lot right now. I actually did it in my finals this last weekend at Pan, but it's getting an underhook on either side.
Go back on top of the underhook. Good position here for Cole Abate.
Going full send on it.
Can he get
Could
it?
be it.
There it is.
So sometimes the underhook will be here, sometimes it won't. If it is there, you can find it and then bring everything this way. Right? If the person's already got a tight grip around that front leg, sometimes it's not there. I start making you post with this one by leaning forward. So remember, the person on bottom has to push, right? You have to do that. That's why I prefer to have the arm here. It's a little bit safer.
Are you like going right here in the armpit or just through
Right on the lap.
Right in the lap? Okay.
And they'll direct me that way.
Gotcha.
Right? That's what you're trying to do. Of course, easier said than done, but you're trying to use your legs and that misdirection to get me going this way. Now, if I can make you post on my chest, if I can make you post here, I can now move away, tap, and then find that. I did this in our round. Post, and then I fall to this side. I love this position because, one, I've got the height advantage. So if you try to come up right now, all I have to do is flare my elbow. I'm taking you over. Right? And if I do, let's say worst case scenario, I'm late, you get up on top, I at least have a shoulder lock to work with. Right? Now I can start creating some distance, shooting submissions, stretching your arm, falling to either side. And then it can also just be like a passing connection, right? So I get here and I see that you're not able to come up, can hide that leg, switch my feet, and then now I'm coming back in to a deep knee slide, and I've got an underhook that I can work with for after the pass.